Welcome everybody, Jean back with part 3, the conclusion of the Cydonian Neolithic artists and builders of Mars. We're analysing this high-rise photograph. I'll include the link in the description below, called Surface Morphology, acquired at 25 centimeters per pixel, and I'll be showing you images cropped from the JP2 black and white map projected file. And just a quick summary, we're analysing the anomalies in this rather smooth flat terrain, located 46.90 degrees north, 49.05 degrees east, on what looks like a vast plain, surrounded by a couple of small hills and mountains. First anomaly we're looking at in part 3 is what looks like a very long, narrow obelisk. It measures about 15 to 14 meters in length, and if we zoom up close, you can see it comes up to a point, slightly eroded of course, and it's got like a sharp apex there. And then next to it, to the left, another one of these strange anomalies with either a hole in it or there's a little spherical dome-like object to the left casting that shadow. And it's very similar to one of these obelisks that we find in Egypt. Check it, the similarity. We can see rather smooth flat side over here, and then, as I say, slightly eroded to the right, but we can also see a second side over there. And just before we move on to the next anomaly, just check this now. There's another one of these hexagonal objects right there, and each side is about 8 meters in length. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the sides, and then there's a row of 4 similar sized and spaced objects over there. And then up to the top right, another one of those looks either like a slab or a block with 3 dark spots in it arranged in a perfect triangle. Check that out. So the next object we're going to be zooming in on is down here, bottom center of the image, and this object over here with the protrusion on it is about 15 meters in length, and so is this bright object to the right. And what makes this a rather interesting object is the protrusion located right there on the center line of this larger object. And then this bright one to the right, it's got a row of 3 small anomalies over there, protrusion in the center, and then another row of smaller anomalies here. Also up there we've got another multi-sided object with a little hole or protrusion on it as well, and another looks like partially eroded hexagonal object over there. We're looking at another massive slab or block. This one measures about 15 by 20 meters. And to the right, another rectangular object, almost like a slab as well, with a small little structure on it. So let's zoom in on that. That little small structure or object on top is about 5 meters across. Zoomed up close, we're looking at this larger flat block or slab with a strange anomaly to the bottom left. Looks almost like it could be a little structure of some kind, maybe even a crashed craft, totally destroyed. And over here we've got another one of these smooth disc-like objects. Looks almost like it's in the shape of a plectrum. And then a long, narrow anomaly running through there. And here at the back we've got another one of those larger features with a hole in it. So that little structure on top of that larger block or base. We've also got two more featured in part 1 and 2 of this series. You can see it's got a 90-degree angle to it, and then right there in the center what looks like a little dome or sphere. And then the other larger object has got this very symmetrical and geometric shape to it. Check that out. And then we're looking at that huge slab and what looks like it could be a little protrusion right there in the center, or that might be another hole cut into this one side. Row of smaller objects next to one another running through there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them in a row there. And then a strange little pyramidal feature over here to the bottom right. And also very similar to 3 others that are found in part 1 and 2. So if you haven't seen those videos yet, check that out. And then another one of those strange, narrow, rectangular pieces with a little knob on it. And then another huge slab or block over here. So this one over here in the center measures about 12 by 12 meters. Very similar to those that I just showed you previously. And up close, very smooth flat surface. And then check out this piece, layering it to the left. If you look at the shadow that's being cast there, this looks like a rather tall feature on this one side. And then that piece over there measuring about 15 meters long, with that little hole or dome, difficult to tell. That measures about 2 to 3 meters in diameter. If we zoom up close, you can see it's got some geometry as well. 90-degree angles to it there. Very similar to 2 others as shown in part 1 and 2 of this series. Check out these. It looks almost like a ruin of some type. This bright object over here measures about 12 meters long, and got right angles to it, straight sides. This one over here as well, it looks like this was some type of structure in the distant past, and these blocks have been separated due to the catastrophe or catastrophes that hit Mars in the past. Check out that little circular feature over there as well. And then another one of these sculpted pieces over there. This measures about 15 meters tall by about 10 meters wide. And rather interesting around it, we've got another one of these narrow, almost rectangular pieces. There's another slab or block over there. And let's zoom up close. Check out this little protrusion. It's right there in the center of this object. And then this piece over here. I'm going to show you another one that looks very similar with this triangular shape to it, with a little dome or feature there in the center. And then this larger piece, and I've shown you many in parts 1 and 2 as well. The straight side there, then a rounded corner on this side. And let's check that out as featured in parts 1 and 2. There's another one that's very, very similar over here. Also with a dark little spot or protrusion on it there. With the similarity. And then one that's slightly more eroded. Also almost same size and shape. Over here we're looking at more alignment of smaller objects. And if we zoom up close, these little smaller objects or protrusions measure about 2 meters across. And there's another one of those triangular pieces we checked out in the slide just before this one. Let's just go back to that, check that out there. And then the similarity is uncanny, check that out. And the location of that dark spot right in the center there as well. And then this row of smaller objects, same size and almost same distance apart. And then there's another geometric shape to that feature there as well. With multiple straight sides and equal angles. So there we go, now comparing those two more triangular objects. Over here, another one of these hexagonal blocks. This one's about 15 meters across. And that little protrusion there is about 4 meters across. And interesting about this anomaly is parallel to this one side. You can draw a line through there, and we've got 2 anomalies on that parallel edge. Measuring about 15 meters tall by about 10 meters wide. And zoomed up close, you can see straight edges and then a rounded top. And through the center line, we've got some protrusions as well. Right there in the center, there's a small little dome-like feature as well. Now we're looking at another one, slightly narrower in the center of this image. And zoomed up close, we've got a dark spot right there in the center line as well. Okay, here we're looking at what looks like some type of structure or outpost maybe, measuring about 20 to 25 meters long. And these little rectangular openings, about 3 meters wide and 1.5 meters high. So get the one side up here, we've got a rounded edge, and then anomalies aligned in a circular pattern on top of this. And another one of these objects with straight edges and equal angles down here, and it's about 18 meters long. And there's another one of those objects, a little hole in it, right there in the center. And this piece reminds me of some others as shown in parts 1 and 2. Get the similar design and geometry. We've also got multiple protrusions on these objects there. So more common design elements. And then another one of these slabs or blocks with straight edges and a rounded piece to the top, and aligned in a triangle, 3 smaller objects, almost same size. This looks almost as if it could be a circular feature with a little dome on the top, measuring about, it's located here to the right. That little circular feature is about 2 meters in diameter. Looks almost like an opening over there. The shadow that's being cast. And then once again, compared to others discovered in parts 1 and 2. Check out here, another triangle. Here we're going to be looking at this huge anomaly to the left, which measures about 18 meters long, and it's got this dark, narrow, dark region on it. And if we zoom up close, we can see, and in parallel to this one edge, we've got this dark carved out area with two little spheres in it by the looks of it. Not quite sure what that could be. Here we're looking at this anomaly over here, measuring about 12 meters across, and it appears this consists of two parts that have moved apart. The gap over here is about 1 meter to 2 meters wide, and then not sure if this is an opening perhaps, or if it's this protrusion here to the left that's casting that shadow. And in the middle of this piece right there, we've got another circular feature, more huge slabs or blocks. We're looking at this one. Each side is about 12 meters. We've got 12 meters, very straight edge. This one's slightly rounded, and then a little triangular object in the center. Very similar to two other anomalies as shown in parts 1 and 2. Also smooth, flat surfaces on these two objects, and protrusions in the centers. Very similar to the stone blocks and megaliths found in South America and in Egypt. With this huge object over here, this one's about 20 meters in diameter, and if we zoom up close, got a very round side. Not sure if this is a disc-shaped object with this half being buried, or if this thing stood up on its side and it's fallen over. Also, it appears to be cracked in half. And then on either side, we've got these two protrusions or knobs. This reminds me of an object we looked at in part 1. This bottom one looks like half of this larger object. This has a rounded side to it. Maybe this is the other half that broke off, with the rounded edge partially buried in the Martian surface there. There's another one of these multi-sided objects. Another one down here. This looks almost like a little disc maybe. There's another one of these oval objects. I'll show you two others that I discovered in parts 1 and 2 of this series. So this oval object is about 20 meters tall by about 14 meters wide. And if we zoom in on it, looks almost as if it's rounded, like a convex shape. Quickly have a look at some of the others. Check out that oval there. Another one here. And then head to the right. All very similar in size and shape. Not sure what this object is, but it looks as if it's got a delta shape to it. It's about, let's see, 14 meters across. And as I say, it looks like it has a delta shape. with this 1/3 partially buried. So if this was the tip of the delta, then that there is virtually in the center of this object. Here we've got a huge structure. Looks like it might have been a solid object that broke apart, and it's about 18 meters across, or about 20 meters tall. To get these straight edges to it over here, and then I'm not sure, maybe this broke off this one side. Here we've got some more strange alignment of smaller parts on this object, which measures, I'd say, roughly about 18 meters across. Up close we can see some symmetry and geometry to this larger piece. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides to it. Right angles on the right, and then equal angles on the left, and then smaller objects arranged along the edge. Rather unusual to see this as well. Similar size and almost in a perfect triangle. Another huge disc-shaped object, about 20 meters across, and zoomed up, it looks like this line running through here might have been carved into the surface like a slot, and then there, just off the center, a little dome or protrusion. And then another disc-like object, bottom center of this image, has a diameter of about 15 meters. And right there in the center, that hole's diameter is about 2 to 3 meters. And then just to the bottom of this, looks like another gravestone. We've got another one of these small discs measuring about 8 meters in diameter. Narrow protrusion right there in the center. More alignment of smaller objects on top of this slab. Slab measures about 12 meters across. And up close, we've got a row of similar smaller objects there, same spacing, and then off perpendicular to that row, we've got that bright feature right there. So some symmetry and geometry in that design. In this photograph, we'll be checking out another one of these rectangular narrow pieces with protrusions on it, measuring about 6 meters across, and the protrusions measure about 2 meters each. So on that center line we've got 2 similar protrusions, same spacing on either side, and then another bright object here to the left, also with 2 protrusions through the center line there. Very similar to another one I found in part 2, I think. And in this piece to the right of this image, very strange shape as well. Looks like an eroded triangular object with a rounded corner over here, and then near the apex we've got that protrusion casting that dark shadow. Also from part 1, another triangular object with a dark spot near the apex. This one's a little bit wider, and this one's in more pristine condition, the one to the right. So what do you guys think? Is there possibly a link to a civilization that once thrived on Mars and that migrated to Earth, or vice versa, taking these construction methods with them? From what I've seen, the evidence I've presented, I speculate that there might indeed be a link, and hopefully one day when we get boots on the ground, we can go and check out these anomalies close up. Hopefully we find some records that are still intact. So who knows, maybe even an ancient builder race migrated through our solar system and left these objects, these structures for us to discover, but only time will tell. So thanks again for watching. I know this was another one of those long ones. I'll be back with more. Bye bye for now.